Called to order, so we will start as we always do by standing. We'll do the prayer for NCH City Council, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. God our Father, we are all your servants. We trust in your mercy and love. We trust also in your guidance. Direct the meetings of this council of North College Hill to make good decisions for all the people who live in our city. Give all the members of this council wisdom and insight to know what is best for our city. Help us to be fair and just in all our decisions. Bless us all to do the very best we can. With your help and guidance, we pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, excellent to see a big crowd here for a special occasion this evening. So we'll go ahead and get started so we can get to the swearing-in ceremony. Mr. Hedger, please call the roll.
Dukestein.
Present.
DeWald.
Here.
Underwood.
Here.
Alexander.
Here.
Zorb.
Here.
Blythe.
Here.
Anderson.
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms. Underwood.
I move that we excuse Ms. Anderson from this meeting.
Mr. President,
Ms. DeWald.
I'll second that.
Motion for Ms. Underwood, second by Ms. DeWald, to excuse Ms. Anderson's absence. She did, by the way, reach out to all of us, so we are aware. Please call the roll.
Dukestein.
Yes.
DeWald.
Yes.
Underwood.
Yes.
Alexander.
Yes.
Zorb.
Yes.
Blythe.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you. You have tonight's agenda.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood.
never mind. I move that we accept tonight's agenda as presented.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Underwood, second by Ms. Zorb to adopt tonight's agenda. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Dukestein.
Yes.
DeWald.
Yes.
Underwood.
Yes.
Alexander.
Yes.
Zorb.
Yes.
Blythe.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood.
I would like to move to make one amendment to the minutes. Namely, under roll call, it indicates that Ms. Blythe was absent when in fact she was present.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb.
I will second that motion.
All right, motion to correct the January
Thank you.
17th minutes to correctly show that Ms. Blythe was present. Motion by Ms. Underwood. Second by Ms. Zorb. Any discussion? Please call the roll, Mr. Hedger.
Dukestein.
Yes.
DeWald.
Yes.
Underwood.
Yes.
Alexander.
Yes.
Zorb.
Yes.
Blythe.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood.
I would like to move that we adopt or accept the minutes as amended.
Mr. President,
Ms. DeWald.
I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Underwood, second by Ms. DeWald to adopt the 117 minutes as amended. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Dukestein.
Yes.
DeWald.
Yes.
Underwood.
Yes.
Alexander.
Yes.
Zorb.
Yeah.
Blythe.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Any communications tonight, Mr. Hedger?
Yes, Mr. President. I do have one piece of communication from the Ohio Ethics Commission for the financial disclosure statement to be filed for the year 2022. In the year 2023, the deadline for the filing is May 15th, 2023. I also emailed council and provided you with a notice in tonight's packet.
Thank you, sir. That will move us to the swearing-in ceremony for North College Hill police officers. I will turn it over to Mayor Tracy Nichols.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. President. Exciting time again, right? Our family is just growing and getting bigger, and I even see it's an addition to someone else's family. A boy. I see the car. Is it a boy? It's a girl. Okay. little she cop in training. I was looking at the little police. Is that police cars?
Yeah,
That's
so
cute.
cute.
That's cute. So I'm not sure who would like to go first, but I would like to welcome you, and we appreciate you joining us. And I'm sure your fellow officers are excited to have you as well as the chief. So. Be like school, you want me to call you, go in alphabetical order, or does someone just want to come on down?
Go ahead, Bryson.
So, Bryson, this is your oath. If you would repeat after me. I can get my glasses on. Raise your right hand. I, and state your name,
I, Bryson Hill,
do swear and affirm
do swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the ordinances of the City of North College Hill,
and the ordinances of the City of North College Hill,
and will honestly,
and will honestly,
faithfully,
faithfully,
and impartially perform the duties of the Office of Police Officer for the City of North College Hill as provided for in the laws of the State of Ohio.
and impartially perform the duties of the police officer for the City of North College Hill as provided in the laws of the statute of Ohio, State of Ohio.
I also swear and affirm that I will support the mission,
I also swear and affirm that I will support the mission,
values, and goals of the City of North College Hill and the Police Department.
values, and goals of the City of North College Hill and the Police Department.
Congratulations. Congratulations. That's yours. Thank you. There you are. So if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Madeline Earth,
Do swear and affirm
do swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the ordinances of the City of North College Hill,
and the ordinances of the City of North College Hill,
and will honestly, faithfully, and impartially perform the duties of the Office of Police Officer
and will honestly, faithfully, and impartially perform the duties of the Office of Police Officer
for the City of North College Hill as provided for in the laws of the State of Ohio.
for the City of North College Hill as provided for in the laws of the State of Ohio.
I also swear and affirm that I will support the mission,
I also swear and affirm that I will support the mission,
values, and goals
values, and goals
of the City of North College Hill and the Police Department.
of the City of North College Hill and the Police Department.
Congratulations. Again, welcome. We're happy to have you here. Chief Schran, did you have anything? Congratulations.
So just a little bit about these two, and then what they haven't figured out, and that we always do, is I always say welcome to our family, but then I also get you up here, and I make sure that you introduce us to the folks that you had come here to support you tonight. I know that going through the police academy, going through the process, going through everything that it takes to get here, it is not a sprint, it's more like a marathon. And it takes a lot sometimes, and that's something that you guys have officially conquered. And you've made it, and now welcome, you are part of our family, okay? So to start off, Bryson Hill, he's a Butler Tech Police Academy graduate. He served for over a year as one of our part-time clerks, all through the academy, everything like that, sacrificing, giving lots of time that way to to our police department because this is the place he wanted to be. He is a U.S. Army veteran, and as of January 24th, he had his first child. His daughter was born and brought into this world. So he's embarking on two great endeavors all at the same time, becoming a first-time police officer to change his life as well as becoming a parent. So we wish you the best of luck in both of those because each one is a full-time job, trust me. Ms. Madeline Erb, she's a Butler Tech graduate, spent some time at Miami University studying criminal justice, also at Defiance College for criminal justice, as well as a university or college softball player. She comes to us via Butler Tech, and we are excited to have her here. And so with that, like I always say, welcome to our police family. We are a family because we look out for each other, and this is one of the most unique places that I can say. We're a small department, but we're a department that cares. So the next thing I can say is I'd like to ask Bryson to come up here and introduce us to those folks. And this is your opportunity to thank those folks that helped you get to where you are.
Hello, I'm Bryson Hill. Right there is my girlfriend, Carrie Keep. She is currently going to UC for criminal justice. She's getting her bachelor's here soon, so congratulations for that. This here is my new baby girl, Josie Quinn Hill.
Here, you can put her She said hello. She's so tiny.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my gosh, she's so teeny. Yeah.
Brand new.
4 pounds and 5 ounces.
Wow.
She's adorable.
I would like to thank the city of North College Hill, the North College Hill Police Department, and the city council for giving me this opportunity to be the best that I can be for not only myself, my family, and the people of North College Hill. I'm very honored to be here, and this truly is a dream come true. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations.
Ms. Hill, your turn.
Hello, my name is Madeline Erb. You can call me Maddie. This is my beautiful girlfriend, Haley Eccles. She's a teacher at Bethel Tate High School, a senior teacher. Don't know how she does it, English. Yeah, crazy. I don't get it. Behind her is her dad, Mr. Jim Eccles, and then my parents, John and Julie Erb. They have been through it all with me. The beginning of my life, softball was a very big part of it, so my poor mother took me to all my trainings, so I like to thank her for that forever and always. But yeah, I look forward to serving and protecting this community with everything that I have, so thank you so much for the opportunity to do so.
Congratulations.
All right. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. Thank you for being part of our family, and for the family and friends that came out to support them. Thank you, because like I said, it is a marathon, not necessarily a sprint. And with that, I can tell you that from being there myself, without that support system, it makes it a lot more difficult to get here. So I'm sure that they'll thank you in person, because here they've made it, and they're going to need your continued support as they change and grow into this role as a police officer. There's sometimes those jobs that just allow you to work 9 to 5 and come home and be the kind of person you want to be. And then there's jobs like police work that kind of define who you are sometimes. So they're going to need your help as they struggle to see some of those things and as they make that change and that transition on. And we're proud of them, and we're proud of the support that they're going to receive at home as they embark on those endeavors. So thank you for coming tonight. Don't feel that you have to stay for the rest of the meeting. I have to, so I'm going to bid you adieu tonight, but I am going to say thank you so much for being here and supporting them, and we're looking forward to having them in our family. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Schran. Congratulations to Police Officer Hill, Police Officer Erb. We will give you all a few minutes to clear out here before we go back to our meetings. So
Do you
congratulations.
really want to
Thank you.
stay?
It's kind of boring.
Can I leave? Do I have to stay? Can I resign yet?
Yeah, I think it was 45, but yeah.
It went up to 45, it was 35 last
Okay, I could be wrong. I was using my memory. She said 35 too. I thought it was 45. No.
Yeah,
She said it's still 35.
Are you?
Yes, but
Good
yes,
evening,
that's who
sir.
it is.
It's so wonderful to see your face. Hey, he
Right.
just said that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're right, you're right.
Something my,
So I was able to keep you from testifying, yay me.
yeah, no. I can't turn it that way as much.
It's what defense attorneys do. We cause chaos and confusion. I know. So the jury was,
They're most likely
Hot
to
mic.
be.
so they've got to do it again.
I'm a little upset.
All right, we will get going here, starting with next up, council committees, city, community development, and recreation.
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms. Underwood.
Ms. Anderson is the chair of that committee, and I don't believe that committee has met since our last meeting. Is that right?
That sounds right to me.
Okay.
They'll be meeting next Monday, right, or this coming Monday,
Yes.
the 13th?
Yep.
All right, and then we have budget and finance.
Budget and Finance has not met since our last council meeting. We'll be meeting Monday, February the 13th at 7:30.
Thank you, Ms. Dukestein.
Sure.
Rules and public policy.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met on January the 23rd, 2023. We discussed 3 council resolutions. We also talked about what our goals were for 2023, that year. We discussed some legislative issues that we're currently having. I don't have my notes here, I just have my agenda, so I'm going from that. If anybody wants to add anything to what I'm saying. That is about all that we talked about during that meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for the 4th Monday in February at 6:30.
That'd be February 27th, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And public safety.
Okay, if you just give me a moment so I can get to those notes. Thank you, Mr. President. Again, we talked about what our goals were for the Public Safety Committee. We discussed the police report from December 2022. There were some police department updates as well as some fire department updates. I believe there was yet another grant received by the fire department. So congratulations to them. We also spent quite a bit of time talking about traffic calming and some of the ideas that we had for traffic calming. So we plan to, do a deeper dive into that. we do have some ideas about how to slow traffic down on Galbraith, on the west side of Galbraith over there. So stay tuned for that. And our next meeting for public safety will be February 27th at 7:30.
Thank you, Ms. Underwood. Next up is ad hoc reports, if anyone has an ad hoc report. Hearing none, we'll move to administrative reports. Good evening, Madam Mayor. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really don't have anything, but I did have a couple of well, maybe one. The Student Government Day, can someone just remind me, was it switched to the 3rd? I believe it was on the 16th. I was looking back through my notes, and I had the 3rd, but then I couldn't remember if it was, I believe Ms. Anderson wanted it switched from the 16th to the 3rd. If someone can let me know when you find out, so I can make sure I confirm with Mr. Spangler at the high school.
I don't have it in my calendar. Sorry.
Okay. Nobody?
I'll
Okay.
take the responsibility of sending her a note.
Okay.
I just reached out to Marjorie.
Okay. I feel like when I talked to him, I feel like it switched. The date switched from the 16th. I don't know why the 16th is in my head because I didn't look at it. The 17th to the 3rd, I believe. It was the 17th, I think, and we switched it to the 3rd. I just want to be sure with the date because we really do want
First
to.
council meeting in April is
It's
what
the
she
3rd.
responded.
So it's the 3rd?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And I know one thing that I was going to speak on, I think Chief Schran has, so that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for the mayor? All right, we'll move on to the city administrator's report. Chief Schran.
So I'll start off with the tow lot has been open for roughly 6 weeks. As of a couple of days ago, we're at $2,750 that has been brought in just in pure profit, and that's just from the storage fees alone. So what I tried to do was give an estimate to make sure that that's happening since this is a brand new business venture for us. Extrapolated out over 12 months, we're so far still going to hit our target goal of anywhere between $25,000 and $35,000 this first year. So I'm very excited to see that that is working and paying off so far, and I wanted to highlight that. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that the detectives work. The detectives that I have been diligently working, and I think it's sometimes one of the hardest things that I have to do. I'm not very good sometimes at highlighting and celebrating those success stories and tooting the police department's horn, if you would. But I thought it was very important to let you guys know, and I had asked Mr. Mosby previously to do that, and I found out that he did not. That Brandon Kreitz, the homicide victim that was in the burnt-up car here on the grounds, if you would, that case was solved in November, December of this year. The diligent hard work of Lieutenant Cheney and Detective Brown, with limited evidence, because obviously a lot of that was destroyed, was solved. We did arrest the female responsible for that homicide in conjunction with working with CPD homicide, and we did get a full confession, and she was indicted on that homicide there. And there was a lot of man hours and a lot of hard work going into that. And for those of you who don't know, when you have a car and a scene that is so badly destroyed, it kind of puts you behind the 8 ball when you're trying to work with limited evidence and no witnesses know anything. So that was incredible work done by those two gentlemen, along with the partnerships that we have with CPD to bring that case to a conclusion. And I thought it was very important to highlight that success story because I know it affected all the employees here of the city building, and it affected them because of how close to home it was. And so I thought it was very important to highlight that success and to tell you that, yes, I put something in their jackets as a reward, if you would, or an award for all of their hard work and their diligence in solving that case.
Thank you.
Number 3 thing on the agenda, gas pumps have been leaking for apparently a while. So when we noticed it, I had to turn the gas pumps off out back. They were off for over the weekend, and we had to put an unplanned about $2,000 to $3,000 of an equipment to fix the gas pumps out back so that the city employees could still reach those and still service the vehicles that we need to have out on the road. Number 4 thing on my list, the Hinkle report, which is the annual report, financial report to the state. We filed for that extension for 2022. We were denied that extension. So that if annual report is due the first part of March, my directive to Kirsten Vonderberg is that we will need to get that done at the end of February, and that I will be overseeing that project to make sure that we get that done on time and completed so that we can stay in an auditable status. I'm happy to report that it's been a long time coming, but as of Friday, the deed to the senior center has been signed so that we are finally closed that chapter. We're not ready to proceed with anything else just yet because I still need to go in and inventory everything, and we need to get that building on the insurance before we go forward and do anything else. I know that the mayor's plans at this point, and I think she wants to talk about that, is to get those things done, have the building insured, and then to kind of go from there and proceed cautiously with a plan in place before we let word out to anything else. And then the last thing on my agenda is just communication-wise. I got the email from several of you with the information and contact info for the street artist. I've sent out several emails, but I have not heard anything back. So that's where we stand with that. Trying to execute council's wishes and looking at the contract that way. I would love to do so, but if anybody else can help me that way, I've reached out in the only way possible several times, and I've gotten no response. So,
Mr. President,
Ms. Orb?
if you don't mind, I'll try to reach out and see. Maybe it's intimidating for the police chief to be contacting someone, so I will reach out as a council member. How's
Okay.
that?
That works.
See what we can get.
If you get hold of them, please let me know.
Sure thing.
That would be a sting operation, wouldn't it? Is that all you have, Mr. Schran?
That is.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have the Law Director's Report. Mr. Dieters?
President, I have no report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Ms. Underwood?
I forwarded a letter to the law director, and I just wanted to know just if that was resolved, if that,
Oh, you're talking about the rental registration thing?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and then we have the Finance Director's Report, and she is not with us this evening, so we'll move to call of members, starting with Ms. Dukes-Dean.
I'd like to say congratulations to the 2 officers that were sworn in. I'd like to say thank you to Police Officer Schran, who's doing a really great job of stepping in as interim. And I wanted to know, with the financial report, why did we not get the extension? Do you know?
They didn't elaborate in depth, but the tone that I got was they just felt that we did not deserve an extension.
Okay. And then Ms. Vanderberg, she submitted the Hinkle report, and then we got denied, right?
So Ms. Vanderberg submitted the 2021 Hinkle report that was completed and compiled by Robin Roush, the CPA that was hired, I believe by Stang and Associates, for 2021. The 2022 Hinkle report is the next. So we are working diligently to close the books and to balance the books and everything for 2022, file that Hinkle report, which we need to do by basically what I'm looking at is mid-March, which is why I've kind of set that deadline for the end of February. And I've been overseeing that project with Ms. Vanderberg to make sure that we get that straight. As Ms. Underwood rightfully pointed out, the fire department got a $600,000 grant.
Wow.
And I submitted a similar grant, and I should find out very soon. And our portion would be much bigger than that.
Wow.
And we lose all of that if we go into an unauditable status. So I think myself and Chief Fells have more reason than anybody to make sure that that gets done and gets done correctly. And so the three of us, myself, Ms. Vanderberg, and Mr. Fells, are well aware of that and are working as diligently, and that is our number one priority at this point, is to get the Hinkle report filed on time and correctly as possible.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Dukestein. Ms. DeWald?
I too want to make a comment about the new police officers coming in. It's always exciting, and now that we've added these two, how many, or are we down at all on full-time police officers?
We are still down one full-time position.
That's good, I think.
To put it in perspective, out of a department of 17 full-time officers, last year we fluctuated, but for the most part, we're down 6 full-time officers most of last year.
Wow.
So to only be down one and to be getting close to where we should be staffing level, I think our officers are excited because they can see kind of light at the end of the tunnel. They see some of the relief coming on the schedule. And for me, I see the relief that way because I see us going back to a position where we're not reactive only to the radio, where we actually get some time to do some of the proactive things like parking complaints and traffic stops and the other things that the quality of life issues that I believe a small city has come to expect from us that I would love to be able to provide.
Fantastic, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that all, Ms. DeWald?
I'm finished. Yeah, sorry.
Ms. Underwood?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to also say congratulations to Officer Hill and Officer Erb, and also would like to say welcome to the city of North College Hill. And I would also like to say thank you to Officer Davis. And I mentioned this to the mayor and the chief, but earlier today, and it wasn't me, and Officer Davis didn't even know who I was anyway. So, but there was a young man who had come to our office who had locked his keys in his car. And he called the North College Hill non-emergency line. And he was, and I was just kind of like, school's about to let out. I don't know how successful that's going to be, but go ahead and give it a try. And it was like he was there in like no time flat and had this young man inside of his car. He was very polite. And again, he had no idea who I was because they were like, "Oh, do you know Erica?" He was like, "No, I don't." I was like, don't know how I feel about that, but it's okay. I just wanted to just say thank you so much. That was very kind, and it was wonderful to see just that kind of connection for one of the officers in our city. So thank you very much, and thank you, Officer Davis. I'll introduce myself one of these days. That's funny. Also, I did have something else, but it's kind of escaping me at this point, so I'll probably come back to it later. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Underwood. Ms. Alexander?
I'd like to say congratulations to the new officers. It's just great to see us growing. I was just having a conversation with someone who I used to work with who I didn't know lived in North College Hill. I was just speaking to her yesterday, and she was talking about one of her neighbors. They park on the grass. And so I was trying to explain to her that, we have a small department, and we kind of have to rank our priorities, and right now we're a little short. So I even invited her to attend some council meetings or either watch, and it's just, I hadn't looked at the agenda to see where we're actually growing, so that's, that's something I can reach back to her. And I'd like to thank you, Chief Schran, for giving us that follow-up, because you hear these stories about, crimes and stuff that happen, but you never really hear, it's solved, and so, I'm grateful to hear that. Also, I got a chance to patronize a couple of the newer businesses in North College Hill that I hadn't. I had stopped by Bonded by Batter Cakery for selfish reasons. But I encourage others to support those businesses. They had a variety of treats. The owner, their children go to North College Hill. My daughter actually knew one of the owner's children. We were sitting in there, and comes in. He's like, "Hi, Kai," and it's like, oh, small world. And I also got to stop into the Rain Shop. I hadn't been there, and they're now featuring a lot of North College Hill type clothing. Gives the children an alternative to the website for North College Hill, things that they can wear in school. And I introduced myself, and they even offered to make North College Hill Council shirts, if anybody were interested. And so I bought a few things, and they were very reasonably priced, and they feature other vendors in there periodically besides their own items. So I encourage us to, patronize those businesses to get them to stay. Some great quality items.
Mr. President, I was gonna say what Ms. Alexander said. I saw someone they bought a sweatsuit, and the stitching, I couldn't believe it. I said, where? You got
It's not iron-on. It's like
not.
quality,
It's quality,
stitching, and I couldn't believe the price. I almost felt like I was like stealing, because I know I've bought other things, of lesser quality. These are the actual letters stitched in, not just the iron-on. Not that there's anything wrong with iron-on, but it's just a better quality product and very reasonably priced. And I was just, welcome them to, the area.
Mr. President.
Ms. Dukestein.
I'd like to add, I also patronized both of those two places, and my son goes to school with the baker's son, sorry, he cheers.
Yeah.
On the thing. But what I was going to add to the Rain is he also sells plants and just an arraignment of exotic plants. So it's a very cool place to visit.
Mr. President.
Ms. Underwood.
First of all, I apologize. I know that I'm watching your body language there, so I didn't mean to. I knew that I had forgotten a couple of things. So I'd never been to either one of those places, so I'll get that follow-up information from both of you. But I did remember what I wanted to say, and it was that I went to Chase Bank in North College Hill, and they had, first of all, I met the branch manager and another gentleman who does mortgages. Home loans. So they have a program to help you fix your credit and get a home loan at our very own local Chase Bank. They were very kind. I sat through a class seminar where they provided some very good information. So I would encourage you, if that's something you're interested in, to, just to go to Chase Bank located right here on Galbraith Avenue. And also, I would like to say, I forgot to say thank you to Chief Schran and the officers who solved the homicide, because as a criminal defense attorney, I know how difficult that can be. So thank you very much for providing that update, because, we do wonder about those things, because we hear it on the front end, but we never hear it on the back end. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. And I promise that's all I have.
It is. Is that all you had, Ms. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Zorb, it's your turn. I hope you remember what you had to say.
Thank goodness I wrote myself little notes here. So first of all, I'd like to say welcome to Officer Hill and Officer Erb. It is a great little community, and I hope you enjoy your time here. I would also like to say, Ryan, Chief Tran, City Administrator, I'm going to talk to all of you. You and I, we've had our differences. It's been clear because it's been on this camera when we've had them. I would like to say that I genuinely appreciate the entire report that you just gave to us. That is exactly me personally. That's the kind of expectation I have in your city administrator role and in your police chief role. I genuinely appreciate all of these updates. That is awesome. And I am delighted to hear that you are only one full-time employee down. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And I know that between you and Chief Fells, you are dealing with a lot of added challenges, trying to fill all of the duties that need to be done. And I just want to say I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Blythe.
Yes, I want to piggyback on an email that I sent to the CIC. On January 30th, I attended the code enforcement meeting as a citizen. And code enforcement was interested, I think, in Chief Fells and Chief Schran documenting landlord violations. So it kind of got the conversation going regarding that. However, and then it was mentioned that Chief Fells and Chief Schran, they have multiple properties that they like to report to the CIC committee. However, we were trying to, well, Chief Fells wanted to attend the next CIC, but then they found out that he and Mr. Knight will not be able to attend the meeting, so hopefully maybe sometime in March they'll be able to attend to discuss code enforcement and also foreclosed properties at the next CIC meeting. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about, I sent this to council, but unfortunately on Friday, I think around 6:30 a.m., a 67-year-old male UC staff person was hit and run very close to Short Vine and Martin Luther King. They took him to University Hospital, but he passed away. So it's getting really bad with all the traffic violations. I haven't heard if that person has maybe turned themselves in, but maybe they panicked and went home or whatever. But it's just really sad news, and it hit the staff at UC very hard. So I just want to send out my condolences. And I'm sorry, the staff person's name was Mr. Patrick Bolton, and he worked in the purchasing department at the University of Cincinnati. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blythe. All right, next on the agenda is remarks from the audience. Mr. Hedger, is anyone signed in?
No, Mr. President.
Thank you. That'll take us to legislation. When you're ready, Mr. Hedger.
All right, first reading, resolution number 2, 2023, a resolution to certify the assessments to the county auditor for placement on the tax duplicate. First reading, resolution number 3, 2023, a resolution to certify the assessments to the county auditor for the placement on the tax duplicate. And first reading, resolution number 4, 2023, a resolution to certify the assessments to the county auditor for the placement on the tax duplicate.
Mr. President,
Ms. Nichols?
I do know this legislation in the last meeting. I'm just trying to make sure that information was sent to Chief Schran because there were some questions pertaining to it. If not, then.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
it was our intention after we had discussed it in committee was to add it to the agenda today so that we could get through the first reading and then refer it to Budget and Finance so that we could make the necessary corrections and then get it back to the to the agenda and then get them passed. But we just wanted to make sure we got through the first reading.
Chief Shane?
And if I may, this came about, and I'm sorry for the way with the three different ones. Chief Fells informed me that these were grass cuttings and that they went back all the way to June or July of 2022. And when I went back and I looked at all of the resolutions, all of the ordinances from last year, and saw that none of these were done, and he was really pushing to say we need to get this on the agenda for those liens and the placement on the taxes. That's why we were kind of push them through in a hurry. So I apologize if they're not in the right format or if it's different that way than it normally is. So you'll have to excuse excuse me for that. I'm learning as I go, but that's why the difference.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
I believe they were fine. There was just, we had some questions because some of the addresses were the same across the three resolutions. So we didn't know whether those were duplicates. That was first of all. And second of all, there was just some small typos, like at the end where I think it should have said 2023, it said 2022 instead or something like. So there were very small changes. We just wanted to make sure we got the first reading done.
And I think it said 2022 because that's when they were supposed to be presented, and I didn't change them that way, and for that I apologize.
No worries.
And I think there are some of the same addresses on there because they were different cuttings in the time that they were presented. So those were ones that, grass cutting wise, they still hadn't remedied the thing, and we still had to go out and cut those on numerous times.
Okay.
So they should be assessed that even though it's the same address.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Ms. DeWald?
Mr. Dieters, are we able to correct these on the floor and pass them tonight?
Yes, you are.
Would council be okay with that?
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
I thought that after we had the first reading and then moved on in the agenda, we couldn't go back and pass it. But Mr. Dieters, is that correct or no?
If you're asking if it could be corrected on the floor, you could correct it on the floor. If you have to go back on the agenda. You can make a
Oh,
motion to-
okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Hedger?
is this being moved back to committee or not? Did I mishear that, Ms. Underwood?
You did not, sorry, Mr. President.
Ms. Underwood?
Do I need to make a motion to send it to Budget and Finance, or can we just?
Mr. President, I do not believe you can go back to move it since we've moved on in the reading to I've already read all three, and since we've moved on, I don't know if we can go back. Can you go back and?
That's right, you can't.
Mr. President,
Ms. Zorb?
I'm trying to recall from the committee meeting, but I thought we were our questions were, was it really tall grass and weeds? And I think Chief Tran has already confirmed it is, and we can change the dates on the fly here on the floor. On the floor. So.
Or on the wall.
I don't see a need to put them back into committee, but unless I'm missing something.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
I would agree with Ms. Zorb. Actually, Chief Schran actually answered our questions. I guess I'm still stunned by that. So I would agree, we don't need to send it back. We can probably correct them on the floor.
All right, so we've already completed the first reading, so
You just corrected at the second reading.
at the
Oh,
next
second.
meeting, we'll make the corrections on
the
second
first
reading, and we will pass them then.
When it comes back in second reading, it'll have the
Yep.
included corrections, and you should be fine.
Can you say?
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is further remarks from the audience as it pertains to legislation. There is no one here, so there are no remarks. Move to old business. Hearing no old business, we'll move to new business.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
okay, so this has been caused quite the debate in my household. I personally, so there are some dividers on Hamilton Avenue right by Walgreens. The dividers that are kind of in that turn lane. So it's, they're just kind of those concrete medians in that turn lane. And in my humble opinion, if cars are not trying to get in that lane and speed around the other cars, then they wouldn't run up on the median and, you know, cause the accidents that we've seen in recent weeks. So in the past month, I am not exaggerating, I have seen at least 6 cars run on those medians. However, my husband believes it's because it's dark and there are no reflectors out there. So that's why people, you know, are running center mass into the median. So it's not like they're just kind of weaving over and it's just the left tire, because I pay attention, because how can you not? Literally, the cars are like center going up over the median. So clearly, they're speeding in a community where the speed limit is always 25 miles an hour, just so you know, and just kind of running up on that median. So maybe I'm suggesting that we should put some reflectors out there so that people see the medians there. However, I don't think that the median should be removed, because I know that they were supposed to be aesthetically pleasing, but they are also traffic calming.
Mr. President?
Ms. Blythe?
I think that's gives you something to think about, but I remember maybe 10, 12 years ago when they put the dividers on Coleraine Avenue to keep people from making a left all up the highway. Most people knew that the average car can't go over those things, maybe not an SUV or an off-road vehicle, but I don't know if people just maybe don't realize that or the desire to go around someone is so strong. But most people, the average car knows they can't go over those, but we're living in a new day and age. But that's, I mean, I think the night we had our Christmas party, someone was stuck in the divider right across from Center for the Blind. But that's just my 2 cents. I mean, I've seen it happen on Coleraine, but that was only briefly after they put the dividers. But I guess people want to, I guess the desire to speed and go around people is very great. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
Mr. Trisharan, do you have any insight as to those accidents that occur right there? And what is your opinion about putting reflectors or some kind of something to alert people at night that, yes, there is a divider here, and no, you shouldn't be breaking the law by trying to speed around people in the turn lane?
So they have had a lot of construction crews out there working on the different water mains and the other things. And so that is an area that when we have the free time and the proactive time that we are trying to enforce, along with the parking, that we're making more of an effort to work on. I like the idea of the reflectors and the things around the island, and I like all kinds of things that are included in the traffic calming there on Hamilton Avenue that help us as a deterrent to the speeding in those actions. The only thing that I was commenting on was that I'm unaware of the time frame, but I still think that they are going to be tearing up Hamilton Avenue at some point. Mm-hmm. And my only thing would be, I don't want us to spend money on resources that, even if they're not tearing up the island, they're tearing up the rest of the street, that I would see get torn up by the construction that way. I would almost say, and this is just my opinion, I think it's a great thing, but I would almost wait until they replace the street, and then right after or right while they're replacing those things in the street and they're done with that, then install them so you don't have to spend more money and going back over the top of whatever that they break or they do. I think that would extend the lifetime of those things, and with a small city with limited resources, I'm always trying to look out for that. That's all I would say.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Ms. Alexander?
I just want to piggyback on the street, the calming. Center Ridge Avenue is almost like a highway. People either trying to make it to Kroger's or they're trying to make the light to get on the highway. I've been in the area for 18 plus years. I've seen the stop sign going up Center Ridge Avenue destroyed, poles, and it's just getting worse. I don't know what steps, maybe some, I don't know, studies or something like that, but it's like a highway. They treat Center Ridge like, well, like they treat Hamilton and Galbraith, which they shouldn't be treating it like that. I don't know if you get many calls in that area about speed. It's a lot of elderly in that area. So when especially the ones that have to park out on the street, when they're trying to get in their cars, it's like, ooh, many of cars have been sideswiped. My one neighbor, in certain places on Center Ridge, he won't even park because he has replaced his side mirror so many times. And I don't know if you all get many calls in that area.
I don't get as many calls on the speeding and the things that way. We still get, our number one call is still on parking. But it does not shock me or surprise me, to be honest, because when they did repave that and they kind of widened Center Ridge, and now that they're doing construction on Hamilton, the two together, common sense and experience tells me that it does not surprise me one bit of what you're telling me, that they're using that and they're using that to get around Hamilton in the construction. And now that it's wider and they don't have to wait to get around the parked cars, that they're going faster. And so, I would say that probably now that, because I haven't done any studies and I haven't looked at any studies per se, now that those two things are a factor, now that they've widened that and the others. So I would relish some advice that way. Okay. But the only thing I can tell you is, yes, that is on our radar as far as those things, because when you put the two together, the widening of the street plus people getting around Hamilton Avenue, it stands to reason or is common sense that's
it was going on before the Hamilton Avenue construction.
So now you've just compounded the problem. Yes, I agree.
Mr.
President.
I had Ms. Underwood first.
So Chief Strand, I know that before the city had purchased some speed bumps. Do we have any that have not been deployed that you're aware of? And if we do, and if so, is it possible that we can place one or two of those on Center Ridge?
I can certainly look into that. I do not know.
Okay.
We don't have any. Okay. I will double check it, but to my knowledge, we don't have any spares.
Okay.
Ms. Blythe?
More bad news. Just as a note, I was driving east on Terrace this morning towards UC, and there's 3 humps. Terrace leads into Clifton Avenue. And as I'm barely going 22 or 23, anticipating each hump, I look in my rearview mirror, and somebody's on my behind. And I'm like, wow, can't you just let me go through these humps? Because you have to slow down when you have a speed hump. And then I had a question that popped into my mind, and someone from council or the mayor can confirm this. I think in 2021 or 2022, didn't we reach out to an agency for a traffic calming survey? And that's why we've been working on it for the past year and a half. So we have a recent survey, I believe.
For Galbraith. Yeah, for Galbraith. That was for Galbraith.
Oh, for Galbraith only? Oh, okay, great, thank you.
Mr. President.
Ms. Nichols?
Just a comment. I personally like the speed humps is that Edward?
Yes.
Yes.
I personally
College
like
Hill?
that. Yeah.
The ones on Betts were the temporary ones.
Yeah, I like the
It's a wider hump.
Yeah,
Those are starting to pop up all over
everywhere,
Clifton.
everywhere.
There's a
Clifton
ton of
has
them.
some that are just wide enough that a car has to go over, but I think a fire truck can just drive over it without hitting it at all. No, that's not it? Okay.
Mr. President.
I know, because I was driving down, it was on Glenway or something like that, over on the west side. And I saw those speed humps where they have this, just like, it's not the full lane.
Right.
And there would happen to be an ambulance behind me, and he slowed down to go over that thing just the same. He couldn't straddle it.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Dukestein.
Sorry.
I need to step down as from the, sorry, I'm looking for the minutes where we talked about it. Here we are. I need to step down from the Community Development and Recreation Committee as co-chair. And in lieu of Ms. Anderson also resigning as of May, I don't know, we need to come up with someone to backfill her, but I don't want it to fall on someone who's the co-chair if they don't know that they're getting into that. I just want to put that back out there because no one stepped up.
No one did.
So, I do desperately need to resign, or put my 2 weeks notice in. So, whenever someone feels so happily inclined to do it, please do let me know.
That's a 2-month.
Is it 2-month notice?
I just made that up. I don't know what it is.
How about 2 days?
So, yes, we have discussed this, so we do need someone to step up and take that role, and we do know that we will need to fill that chair role as well in the near future.
Crickets chirping.
It cannot be Ms. Underwood.
That's correct. Thank you. I didn't have to say that.
Or Ms. Dukestein?
Yes, the crickets are chirping. Any other new business?
Okay, so hearing none. Bueller. Mr. President, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Mr. President,
Ms. DeWald?
I second that.
Motion for Ms. Underwood, second by Ms. DeWald to adjourn tonight's meeting. Any discussion? Mr. Hedger, please call the roll.
Dukestein,
Yes.
DeWald,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Alexander,
Yes.
Zor,
Yes.
Blythe.
Yes.
Motion passed 6-0.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
So what happens if nobody steps up? I'm just stuck?